Sweet Dream Pie by Audrey Wood and Mark Teague. It was almost dawn on Willoughby Street when Pa Brindle lit the lantern and led Ma Brindle up to their dark attic to an old trunk draped in cobwebs. "I haven't slept a wink tonight," Pa said. "I've been craving a piece of sweet dream pie, just like the one you made me long ago." "The last time I made that pie you ate too much," Ma grumbled, "and your dreams weren't sweet." Pa Brindle blew the cobwebs off the trunk, then threw it open, and all the cats in the neighborhood opened one eye. An enormous mixing bowl, a great rolling pin, a gigantic pie pan, and a small brass bell glinted in the lantern light. "I'll be good this time," Pa promised. "Only one big piece of sweet dream pie, that's all I want." "Well then, I'll make it, and you help," Ma agreed. "But if things get out of hand, don't blame me." The Brindles carried the extra-large utensils down to the kitchen and began to make the pie. When the dough was ready, Ma rolled it out on the table, and when she did, all the people on Willoughby Street, including little Amy McPherson, rolled out of their beds and onto their floors. Next, Ma fashioned two great pie crusts. Then the Brindles began to toss every sweet thing they could find into the enormous mixing bowl. Gumdrops flew through the air and rained down with marshmallows, candy corn, cinnamon hots, chewing gum, chocolate drops, butterscotch, licorice sticks, lollipops, sugar cubes, jelly beans, candy sprinkles, cookies, and more. Clouds of powdered sugar drifted out of the windows into the street. A chocolate tornado sprang up and whirled out the door, knocking Johnny Luns, who was trying to deliver newspapers, off his bicycle. The enormous mixing bowl began to glow. A thick, sweet syrup bubbled out and oozed down the sides. The Brindles poured the filling into the giant pie pan, then rustled the top crust into place. Ma crimped the edges and Pa poked the steam holes. The crust began to move, as if the insides were trying to get out. Pa shoved the pie in the oven and slammed the door. Quickly he turned the dial past bake, broil, and roast to a setting that simply said special. As the sun rose, the oven warmed and a heat wave hit Willoughby Street. It was too hot to go to work or school, so everyone stayed home doing cool things. Even Mary Chubb, who had never missed a day at the library in 15 years, lounged beneath her sunflower. By noon, the delicious smell of Ma Brindle's sweet dream pie blanketed the neighborhood with a blissful aroma. Everyone was simply drooling to get a taste of that pie. Even baby Robbie stuck out his tongue, thinking he could lick the sweetness from the air. The heat wave raged on into the afternoon. It was so hot, all the air conditioners stopped working. No one was cool except for Perry Arbuckle, who filled the tub in his conservatory with ice cubes and sat in it. As the sun set, the sweet dream pie browned, and the sky burned a fiery red above Willoughby Street. It was too hot to eat much, so everyone picked at dinner and thought about the pie cooking in Ma's kitchen. That evening, all the neighbors found an excuse to stop by the Brindles' house. Pa set up tables and colored lights outside and invited everyone to stay and share in his special dessert. They were all thrilled, except little Amy McPherson. Amy could eat no pie because it made her sneeze. The dogs jumped and began to chase their tails. Ma Brindle rang the small brass bell. "It's time for sweet dream pie," she called. Pa Brindle and Johnny Luntz carried the pie and set it down. Steam rose up from the pie, and a thick fog settled over the neighborhood. Standing side by side, the Brindles blew upon the pie to cool it. A welcome breeze sprang up, whirling napkins and party plates into the air and clearing the fog. For the first time in 13 hours, Willoughby Street cooled down. Ma cut the pie as neighbors lined up. "Now be careful," she warned. "This pie is very rich. One piece is all you need." No one had ever tasted anything like Mom Brindle's sweet dream pie. It was so sweet, happy tears just rolled down everyone's cheeks. "Don't eat too much," Ma kept saying. "Only one piece or you'll be sorry." But no one listened. They all helped themselves to sweet thirds and fourths. Pa Brindle broke his promise. He gobbled down sweet sixths and sevenths. Poor Inky King ate so much he looked as if he had swallowed a bowling ball. When Myrtle Murphy's parrot pecked up the last crumb, a hush fell upon Willoughby Street. The neighbors thanked Ma and Pa for sharing their wonderful pie. Suddenly, all they wanted to do was go home and snuggle in their cozy beds. Some made it and others dozed off along the way. Ma Brindle shook her head in dismay. After all that sweetness, she said, no one will rest well tonight. Then she went inside to get her broom. That was when the dreaming began. Pa Brindle's dream was the first to pop out. Bigger than a dump truck, it galloped through the neighborhood, whistling for others to follow. Dreams of every shape, size, and color drifted up from their dreamers and began to sport and play. All of the dreamers on Willoughby Street tossed and turned in their restless street. Ma Brindle had never seen so many wild dreams. They were everywhere and into everything. The dreams were too happy and too excited, doing things they shouldn't do. When enough was enough, Ma took up her broom and began to sweep, 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 until she had swept away every last dream from Willoughby Street. All of the dreamers, including Pa Brindle, sighed with relief and finally settled in for a good night's sleep. From her bedroom window, little Amy McPherson watched it all, and for once in her life, she was glad she could eat no pie.